The Irish have had enough. We've had enough. We're a strong nation. We are a tough people. And we want to see change, and we're sick of seeing no change. And this is the time for us all to stand together, get up off your arses, get out and protest.
Their biggest weapon is fear. They try to put labels on you to keep you down and stop you from coming out and protesting against these absolute shower of bastards all the earth.
There's Indian people here, there's African people here. There's nobody at all that will make you feel out of place at any of these protests.
Any government's responsibility and any politician's responsibility is to look after their own people first and foremost.
But are they?
Well, they're not.
We're all starting to see a bit better. A lot of the people are now starting to come out and see exactly what's happening to the country.
Like, we're just not being treated the way we should be treated. We're literally, you may as well say we're in the bin.
We're in the
Irish, we're in the bin. They don't care about us, the government don't.
Well,
They're
let's
more
hope
worried
this
about
is...
everywhere else.
Do you think the government is a bit worried about us now because of the...
No, the government don't care about us. They're more worried about everywhere else in every other country than they are about their own people.
It's time the whole country comes out now, lads. It's not just about fuel either, right? All the atrocities that they're at the force on their people for the last few years, you should come out for every man, woman and innocent child who are the future of this country.
They're not far-right protests, they're not racist protests, there's none of that.
Alec Stevenson, do you feel that there'll be a change now in how the protesters are viewed rather than the regular spiel we get about right-wing, racist, etc., that might be frightening people who are employed or don't want to upset the family to come to protest? Do you think there's a change there?
Well, I think there is a change, and I think that the government and the opposition and, those who oppose us have done that purposely, called people all of these names, racist, fascist and all of that. Now, how can it be racist or fascist to demand that everybody in this country be treated the same? How can it be racist or fascist to say that Irish people are entitled to a good quality of life in their own country? In this country, you're right-wing or racist if you're a Catholic. If you oppose many of the things that the liberal left support, you're suddenly a right-wing fascist, when none of those things are true.
It's meaningless.
Well, they have used those labels so much that they actually mean nothing.
How do you think that what's gone over on the last week or so will change the future of maybe who will go to the protests?
Well, look, it's definitely, we've been doing this now for 5 or 6 years. Colin, you know well, you've been around for it. It's the labelling stuff at the start, the demonisation, the destruction of people, characters that are around this, people like myself, even yourself, whatever. Anybody like Gavin Pepper, the Journal did a hit piece on us there. It's like this far-right element, far-right. This is now proven, I think, to everybody now that actually, I'll give you the definition of what far-right is, right? Because the politicians won't give it. The definition of far-right is grassroots Irish concerned citizens.
About these protests quite a bit.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Look, I'm here for the same reason as anybody, right? Because the issues that are going on in this country, Bob, are affecting everyone, right? Not only the Indigenous Irish people, but even the immigrants that are living here, working hard here. The cost of living is through the roof. The issues that are going on, the social issues that are caused by the government and the media are the things that we're standing here. And so I come out here in solidarity with the Irish people to show support for a nation that's helped many, a nation that has opened its doors and helped many people. And right now the people of this nation need support. We need to break all of the narratives and the division that the government is trying to push towards silencing real concerns. And that's what I'm here for.
And have you found in your protesting any feelings of that the other protesters thought was there racist comments thrown at you?
None at all. There were hundreds here the other day. I was here with a couple of other guys. There's Indian people here, there's African people here. There's nobody at all that will make you feel out of place at any of these protests. They're not far-right protests, they're not racist protests, there's none of that.
Do you think that now, with what's happened over the last week or so with the protesters, that the government will no longer be able to just label us as racist, far-right, etc., because these are just punters here.
Yeah, like it's just ordinary people that are coming out. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone there, you've elderly people here, like people coming in with their kids as well. Like, I think that's probably why you can't get the numbers out on the streets, is because everyone's getting labelled as far right. We're not far right. We're just ordinary people.
But do you think that because of what's happened and what people are seeing now,
Yeah.
that will change slightly because the government won't be able to throw that label at us because we're just
Ordinary people.
We're just ordinary
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So do you think they won't be able to use these labels
No.
on us anymore?
No, they won't be able. They can't class us as far right people anymore. They can't.
So all fuel aside and all these things aside, it is a positive move. Would you agree?
Yeah.
You'd agree?
Yeah, I'd agree. We're just ordinary people. We're not far right. We're
No,
just normal.
no agendas other than justice.
Yeah, exactly. We need justice.
And you hope it'll be that moving forward with the protest that will get the people who are worried about their jobs labelling them or their
Yeah.
family labelling them will just see that we're just here for justice.
Exactly. That's all the people are here for, is coming out for justice.
The Guards are not our friends, unfortunately. It gives me no joy to say that. I grew up with Guards. I went and played hurling and
We both
football
did.
with them. Yes.
Chris,
And
our good friend.
And we played hurling and football with them and everything else, socialised with them and everything else. But this entity now that's called on Garda Síochána, I call them the Irish Police Force. They're captured, they're bought, they're doing exactly what their puppet masters are telling them to do, and they're throwing the Constitution out the window. They're allowing immigration come into the country. They're turning their nose or a blind eye to immigrant crime a lot of the time, covering up for it and everything else. They're just not fit for purpose as far as I'm concerned. So the Irish people over the last few days now, a lot of people have seen that now, and they're starting to believe it now. It's not just a few people saying it online.
You'd feel safe here. I have not a single person has made me feel out of place. I've had other lads here with me. There's a couple of other guys over there that are foreign here. We had an Indian guy here a minute ago joining in, taking photos and having conversations with everybody. There is none of that. None of that at all.
How much does God play in your enthusiasm to do this?
Look, God is the forefront, right? And I say Christ is my anchor for everything that I do in my life. It's always guided and inspired by God. And that's what makes me love this nation and love this people, right? It's that, because Ireland there's something sacred about this land and there's something sacred about the Irish people. And it's a country that has a deep spiritual relation, right? And that's the most important aspect for me. So God is at the forefront of everything that I do.
So you would suggest to other, you are an Irish citizen.
I am,
at
yeah.
this stage. You would suggest to other people of colour to join in these marches?
Absolutely, everyone is more than welcome. There's a lot of fear mongering online. I had a lot of people message me last night saying they'd love to come in, but they're worried, they're scared. Maybe people will turn on them. None of that is going on. That's fear mongering and it's lies.
And wouldn't it also destroy the narrative that's been around about everyone being far right, racist,
Absolutely,
etc.?
the narratives are all lies. There's no racists here. There's nobody that's far right here. I've been here 6 days. The past 6 days these protests have been on, there's been nothing but love and support.
Fergus Parr, a well-known face at all the protests. Do you think that what's happened over the last week or so will change the view of people who call all the protesters right-wing, this, that and the other? Do you think there'll be...
Fair play to Woody.
Do you think there'll be a change in how protesters are viewed now after this?
100%, absolutely 100%. I said it from the start of all this, right? Their biggest weapon is fear. They try to put labels on you to keep you down and stop you from coming out and protesting against these absolute shower of bastards all the year. What the people have seen over the last few days, the way they sent the army in, the Gardaí, battering people, they're after doing this, by the way, for the last few years. The likes of us trying to stand up for our communities and the whole lot, but I think it's after emboldening so many people and radicalising so many people to go, these are actually capable of sending the army and the Gardaí to battle their own people and come out to get our stand as one and get rid of these and make them stand down.
And it's no longer about being labelled far right, racist, because there's nothing to do with that.
Yeah, there was never there's no far right in Ireland, there's a far left or right, but
I don't know anyone far right.
neither do I. Concerned parents, concerned Irish men and women, that's all it ever was, and they tried to label us and keep us down and keep us quiet, and all they done was embolden us, and look at it now, everyone can see what they are. They're absolute monsters. They're plotting and planning all these decisions that go in behind the walls, that cesspit, that's the doll. If I had my way, I wouldn't be going up near it. I'd tear it down brick by brick with my fucking hands if I could.
You're one of the fellas that I remember years ago, you shouting about, this is part of the Constitution, we're peacefully protesting.
Yeah.
And that was actually right here. While I was getting dragged out, you got dragged off, you were arrested, were you?
A couple of times, yeah.
On that,
I got battered now in Ballybrack. I was standing in Ballybrack. It'll be 3 years this year in September. Sorry, July, I think it was. was all saying it went viral. I was literally standing there against having 60 illegal foreign criminals planted in my village, right? My small village around my children. It was never going to happen for them. So I was the target of political policing, superintendent and all these little game squad up there that stood all over me. But like I said, all they did was embolden me.
So things, do you think, will change? Do you think there'll be more protesters that are just your Joe Blogs now because they've seen what's happened this week?
Yeah, are we all far right now, Father? That's the way it should, know what I mean? It's, yeah, I think it's going to embolden so many people, and you have to, lads, you have to come together. Our children are the future of this country, the future protectors of this island, and we have to come out for them, right? It's just that God-given birthright, and it has to be fought for. So get up and stand together and never back down to this.
You come here, you're greeted with open arms. Look at the guys over there. There's diversity conversations going on right now just behind me between Irish people and Africans. There's none of that going on here. And that's an important thing. And one thing I will say, Bob, right, for people to understand, for me personally, what I've experienced over the past couple of days at these protests, I've seen the true meaning of the Fighting Irish, the true meaning of community, and the true meaning of what it is to stand for something and really put yourself and put your affairs aside to stand for something. And that has inspired me in ways people cannot possibly imagine. And for the first time in my life, Bob, I'll say this, I've never said it about any president, about any nation at all. I'd never lay down my life for anybody other than God. But what I've experienced and what I've seen, the courage throughout the entire country, I'd honestly put my life on the line for any man, woman and child of this nation and for this country. That's how much it's meant to me, and that's how much it's inspired me to see people and the farmers of this country, the cornerstone of this country, put themselves on the line for the fight for everybody's cause. And I think that's what it really means to live for something. And I'd live and die for this nation.
So you've changed over the last few years, and I have to say you're looking a lot better. Put on a bit of weight, and that. What has changed in you?
The only thing that changed for me and made my life, I can't even put a number on it, how better my life is because of God, following His word. And I've an absolutely brilliant family at home. My wife, I couldn't do what I do any further. I absolutely love the bones and my children. That's all I have to do. If I look for inspiration, I look at my children. And I go up every day and go against this and try to make a better future for them.
And God coming into your life has made a difference?
Yeah, I couldn't even put it into words, right?
Really?
Yeah, God is... I can't put it into words. If you turn back around Him and accept Him as your Saviour, you watch how much better your life becomes.
And do you think a lot of Ireland is changing that way because they are going back to God?
They are. How could you not? When you look around and see the evil that surrounds you and the evil that they're not even running the country, they're running the country to the ground. They will have this place burnt down to reel over the ashes, right? And the only one that's going to save us out of this is God. So turn back to Him. God bless you all. Eric O'Brien.
Look to other YouTube channels about Ireland. See the truth of what's happening. Aaron Gabra.